It's been a long time coming, but I finally got a Stanton in to showcase on the channel. Stanton bikes are out of the UK, and they have a reputation for having some fantastic hardtails, so I'm super excited to get them in here. It's hard to get UK bikes here in the States for review because it's a lot of cost for these companies, and I really appreciate Stanton sending this in. Take a look. This is the Switch9er, their most progressive Rowdy 29er hardtail, and the Geo looks amazing on paper. I can't wait to try this out. When you order a Stanton, you can either get the Taiwanese model or the made in the UK model. Same exact numbers, same tubing, but the price is different. For the price that you pay for these, it's a premium frame. I was hoping to have a little bit better welds, just a little bit of cosmetic. It doesn't quite have that hand-built attention to detail look that some of the nicer stuff has. One thing I will say about the ordering experience, communication has been difficult. Stanton's dropped the ball a couple times, and I don't want to badmouth them at all, but part of the review is sharing the experience of what it took to get this frame here to the US. I initially ordered a red lava one, and I kept waiting and waiting for it to come, and I found out they accidentally sold it to someone else. So I had to wait for the next shipment of frames to come in, ordered another red lava one, and the green one came. There's a little tag on it that said, I'm not sure what color he wanted. All they had to do was check their emails, see what we've talked about multiple times about the color, or just email me again and say, hey, we lost the notes on what color you should do. Before we paint it, what color did you want again? So, like I said, maybe this is just because I'm a media guy and a paying customer would get a different level of customer attention, but it's worth mentioning, especially if you're ordering from the UK to the US, this would be a huge pain to ship up and send back. That said, color doesn't really matter, especially on a review bike that I'm gonna send back anyway, but I thought I would mention that because it would impact you if that happened to you as well. This is a cool color. It's a metallic green, but it's matte. It's not super glossy. In looking at it up close, in a couple of these crevices where it's really hard to paint and powder coat, it looks dusty, and what happened is there wasn't enough paint in there to adhere, and it's not dust, it's just a little bit lack of paint. Fit and finish, I'd give this like a 7 out of 10. Between the welds aren't the prettiest and a little bit of spots where paint didn't go in. I'm being harsh on this because Stanton has a reputation for being the bike to beat. Those are the only disadvantages I've been able to find so far. I know I'm being a little bit picky and a little bit harsh, but if you're dropping this kind of money on a frame, you need to know that and you need to be aware of it. If this rides like I hope it does, that won't really matter in the grand scheme of things. So I'm stoked that they got it to me from the UK. Really appreciative of them for sending it in. Let's get this thing built up so we can get some dirt on the tires. I gotta give props to Stanton for sending this with a headset. I believe all frames should come with a headset. It just makes the build so much easier. You're not tracking down random parts, you know, running back to the shop when you got the wrong size one. And this one even comes with a crown race, which is cool. This bike's built around a 140 fork, and we're gonna throw a 140 mil King Creek helm on here. Fantastic fork. We're gonna go on a nice build on this because it's a nice frame and I really want to see what this is capable of. I'm gonna go with the 40 mil stem on this. Running a 9.8 stout stem. I really like these stems. If you haven't heard me talk about it before, I love the King Creek helm. It's my favorite feeling fork. Close second is a RockShox Pike, but I like how adjustable this is. You can tune the positive and negative chamber. You can change travel without losing any oil. It takes me about 10 minutes to change the travel on one of these. I like the way the bottom out spacer adjusts. There's more adjustment in there. Anyway, I think it's really cool. Big fan of these helms. For bars, we're gonna be running the Whiskey number 9 bar. They sent me these to review, test them out. This is a 10 mil rise. These 9.8 stems come with their own torque wrench, which is super nice, especially on carbon bars. You want to make sure you use a torque wrench always on those. We're going to go with the Wheels manufacturing bottom bracket on this. So these are made in the US. Very nice angular contact bearings. So there are only 3 frames that I've lost sleep over because I knew they were coming and I was so excited, and this is one of them. I've been really excited to get this. And we'll run some race face turbine 170 cranks. All the routing is external on this frame except for the dropper. It's kind of interesting. The dropper routing goes into the frame here, spits out down there under the bottom bracket and back up the back of the seat tube. I always wondered why we didn't feed them through the back of the seat tube when they kink like that. That makes a lot of sense to me. Oh, interesting. I just realized this doesn't come with water bottle bolts. That's kind of interesting. This is how Cane Creek does their volume spacer adjust. So this came out of the left fork leg, which is where you add your air pressure to pressurize the shock. And the way this works, let's see, is you slide this little piston into the setting that you want. And this is cool because you can essentially do half volume spacer adjustments compared to like Fox or RockShox. There's more adjustment here. So in a RockShox fork, you thread these things onto the bottom of the cap. This one, you adjust where this plunger is. Both work just fine and you don't do it very often. I really appreciate that the Helm Mark II comes with a through axle and not their goofy quick release. That thing was awful. For wheels, we're going to be running the Zip 30 Moto wheels. These are a carbon wheel. They are not cheap, and they are my favorite wheel. They are fantastic. They have this ankle compliance, they call it, and it really does work. It's not just marketing speak. It will twist side to side on the rocks, and it makes for a very controlled ride on a hardtail. You don't bounce around as much. And I have abused these and slammed them into things that would crack other carbon wheels, and they haven't cracked. They've been fantastic. They also have a lifetime warranty. I'm a big fan. And my Zip wheels are custom. My rear hub has a Onyx hub on it. That's my all-time favorite hub. It's completely silent with instant engagement, and it's a soft engagement. Nothing feels like Onyx. I'd take an Onyx over any other hub in the world. Fantastic. Sometimes when I'm building these, I'm like, wait, where's that cable routing supposed to go? And you kind of have to look it up online and hope they have good enough pictures on their website to showcase that. That's kind of a tight bend there. For the dropper, we're going with our trusty 9.8 Fall Line R. This is a 30.9 seat tube. So it's one of the more narrow ones. So if you're swapping parts from your full suspension over to build one of these up, there's a chance your dropper may not fit. This is kind of, a lot of steel bikes run these smaller seat tubes, but we're starting to see a little bit of both. So you always have to check and make sure your dropper is going to be compatible. Dropper routing, I am not a fan of. It's got too many tight curves. It looks good on paper, but man, it doesn't work great in here. One nice thing about this dropper is the cable's attached, so when I pull it up, the cable comes with it. I'm not going to accidentally disconnect it in there, which is super nice. I like that these come with seat collars. I think all hardtails should come with a headset, seat collar, water bottle bosses, and axles. And most do. It's really interesting. This goes internal here under the bottom bracket. There's a little cable tie there. Then back internal here to here. I hope this doesn't rattle. Maybe not. Might be under enough tension not to rattle. This is turning into be a bit more of a high-end build than I usually feature on this channel. I pulled out all my good parts for this. I really want to give this the best opportunity I can to show me what it's made of. If I end up loving this bike, what I'm probably going to do is recommend you get the titanium one. And I will say, I had some email correspondence with Dan Stanton. That guy knows his stuff more than almost anyone I've ever talked to. He is so knowledgeable. A lot of these guys start companies because they want to build great bikes. Not because they want to do emails, not because they want to hire 10 people in a shipping department. And it really became apparent that he is a rider. He's super knowledgeable about how the different steels ride, about how to get different ride characteristics out of different bikes. I told him, here are the ride characteristics I want, which bike is best? And he said, well, for some things it's going to be the Switch9er. For other things it's going to be the Sherpa. The Sherpa is going to be a little bit softer. This is going to be a little bit burlier, but with its intended purpose. He really liked the tube set that he did for this. And the tubes that this is using is Reynolds 631. Somebody asked me the other day if I can feel the difference between 4130 or Reynolds 853 or Reynolds 631. I can't. I don't know enough about it. And I feel like there are so many other things that factor into the frame feel than just the tubing that I feel like just building a bike off of tubing is doing it a disservice. Now, someone like Dan, who really knows all those things and has so many experience building thousands of frames and what they feel like, he's going to be able to tell the difference and steer you right. But I just don't have enough experience on different types of steel. We'd have to build like 30 different bikes with the exact same frame layout, with the exact same tubing thickness, with the exact same welder, and then ride them back to back with different tubes and see how they felt. And since every bike is so different, it's hard to pinpoint which difference it was that made it ride different. This is pretty sweet, looks like a bike. What do you think, too much green or will that look nice? Well, let's try it, I like these grips. These are the Ergon GE1s, they're Enduro grip. I've been riding Ergon grips a lot lately. They're not a sponsor, but they do send me grips to try out, and my calluses on my hands have been going down. And this is the first lock-on grip where I get fewer calluses instead of more calluses. The only other grip that would help with calluses were the ESI Chunkies, but especially on these Evo factory ones where it's got this green soft rubber, it is soft and it does not give me calluses as bad as other stuff. So there's that, I really like it. Also the GE1, remember G stands for grip, E is enduro, A is all mountain, D is downhill. That kind of helps you differentiate between their grips. The GE1, these are their enduro grips, have like this little blade for your trigger finger, and it sounds so stupid, but it helps remind me to let off the brakes and not hover the brakes and just hang on for sometimes. I'm a bit of a brake dragger. I play it safe. I don't bomb down stuff. But this helps me commit to saying like, okay, I'm not gonna hit the brakes for the next 100 yards. I'm gonna tuck my fingers in, and you feel that? Sounds so stupid, but that little ridge gives my finger somewhere to sit. Stanton does a whole bunch of custom colors. They can go as custom as you want. I've got some ideas of how I would build one of these up if I were doing custom colors. This isn't a bad color though. I'm not a green guy, but man, this is a good looking green. I don't know why, but I feel like banged up cranks are like a badge of honor, kind of like an old worn-in guitar. It shows you ride your bike a lot and it's not just for pictures. Make sure you stick around for the sound of this hub at the end. The hub action is instant. There's no slop. The second I push on this, it's grabbing. There's no take up. The Onyx hub is incredible. It truly is. Time to go weigh it. Ooh, I'm gonna take a guess. Let's see. Ooh, that doesn't feel too bad. I'm gonna guess 30 pounds. Let's go see. All right, it came in at 31 pounds. These are heavy tires, these Hutchinson Griffiths tires, and Asagai's a heavy tire. I got heavy pedals on here, fairly heavy cranks, but the rest is about how I like to build my bikes. So it's an enduro bike. It's meant to charge stuff and hopefully do long days on the trail. I can't wait to throw a leg over this and show you what I think about it long term. Make sure you're subscribed so that when I drop the review to this, you're notified. Hit that little bell icon and it will notify you when I release it. Beautiful bike. I really like the lines. I wish the welds looked a little bit better, and I wish Stanton's communication was a little bit more clear and they hadn't dropped the ball on a couple things. But I'm so glad to have this here. This is the bike I've lost sleep over because I've been so excited to get it. And when they emailed me and said they were gonna send one, I was so excited. There's only one thing left to do, and that's have you hear what this hub sounds like. There's a party in the mountains, and you're invited.